Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the 2023 to 2044 Pluto in Aquarius transit. Now, for the most part, from March 23rd, 2023 to January 19, 2044, Pluto will be traversing the sign of Aquarius. For the majority of that time, for a short time, you're going to have Pluto will be in Capricorn in that period, but only for a short time period from like June 11, 2023 to January 21st, 2024. But the thing about this is going. I want to first state that this video is going to be a basic video about that the Pluto and Aquarius transit. I might make another one at a later point in time, which will be closer to the actual time when Pluto does enter Aquarius. It might be more detail oriented and more analytical, but this one just basically talking about some things very concisely, what this transit may bring. Now, the thing about this transit, one thing which could be very, could be something that could happen during this time, could be a transformation of humanity. I don't believe, I don't know if we're going to have, people, transforming into humanoids or robots or anything like that. It doesn't mean we won't have. We might actually have and some androids during that time, and humanoids. I don't even know if they exist at this point in time, if any of them do. But if there's anything like that exists now, you could see some kind of proliferation of that. I do think it's very possible. If they don't exist at this time, then you might actually see some at this time, or more robotics, I would say. There can be at this time as well. I think, when you have this transit, you also have to look at, some positive things that could happen. On a lighter note, and it may be of interest to people, that are watching this video, because you are, if you're watching this video, more likely than not, you're enamored with astrology. Some of you may be astrologers, and the thing about this is that you might see more, it might be like astrology on TV. It might be something that might be more prevalent, during this time of this transit, because Pluto is associated with the occult, which includes astrology, and Aquarius has a connection with television. So I would not be surprised if we didn't have more astrology on TV. Maybe you'll see more like like weekly or daily shows that are dedicated to astrology. You might at this time as well keep in mind Pluto is also about secrets. So, and Aquarius is associated with the internet, so you could do the math. It could be more unveiling of secrets on the internet. Pluto is also connected with coercion and bullying, and I hate to say this, but I believe you might see an escalation of cyberbullying during this time that Pluto does traverse Aquarius. You might see, Pluto is also connected with a transformation. So, you might see more people, I'm not saying transform into bionic people completely, but you might see something where bionics may be more prevalent. You might see more people having more maybe bionic parts in the body. Aquarius is about innovation. It's also connected with bionics. You might see as well, and on a smaller scale, Pluto is associated with taxes and insurance. So what I'm thinking too, naturally you might see an elevation and escalation of people filing their taxes and insurance online. Many people do that right now. I'm really wondering if it could make meeting actual people, having taxes filed in person, with another human, could something, maybe that's going to be obsolete, and people are going to be, I don't know if everybody might be collectively doing their filing online. I think it's a possibility, but I don't know if it's going to make the in-person filing completely obsolete. But I think you're going to see a lot more people do that kind of filing online, and filing insurance claims. You might see more of that online as well. Um, Another thing too is that as far as this transit may go, we had, if I'm not mistaken, last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the Revolutionary War, and it was like independence for the United States. You might see more nations, wanting greater freedom at this time. I don't know if we're going to have another, Revolutionary War anywhere, but we might have something, comparable to that. There's going to be more, Pluto is about, passion and desire, and Aquarius is connected with freedom. So you may very well have more, passion and desire that is connected with wanting to be free at this time, and people coming out of, if there was any kind of restrictive, barriers for people. Uh, the thing about this is, COVID, as many of you may know, is still prevalent in many places in the in the world in general. I think when we have Pluto entering Aquarius, there's going to be more people that are going to want to free themselves from the fear, from maybe trepidation that might be connected with this, from parameters that even you might even have some governments even giving people at this time the restrictions. Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is connected with restrictions and limitations. It's also associated with the government. Could also be a time when you have, Pluto is also connected, associated with surgery. So you may have, when during this time, when Pluto traverses Aquarius, you may have more, advancements in surgery, innovation in surgery. You may have more microbots performing surgery. If I'm not mistaken, you may want to confirm this on the internet, but if I'm not mistaken, that there was at least one surgical procedure, if not more, that people had used the actual microbots going into the human body to perform the surgery. So it's safe to say there will very likely be more revolutionary ways of performing surgery. And the thing about this too as well, Pluto is also connected with trauma. And on a lighter note, smaller, something that's not as significant as other things I've talked about, which I believe could be in connection with this transit, you might see, for whatever reason, there might be, an escalation in trauma that's associated with circulation for people. Well, or I should say maybe ankles, shins, the calves, the nerves, which is associated with Aquarius. Maybe unusual injuries. It could be some unusual, like protrusions and growths. You may see more people have that at this time when you have this transit. During this time as well, I would say you're going to see more advancements as far as investigation goes, forensics. Forensic science is improving constantly. And we've had a lot of advancements in DNA research. I would say during this transit you will have, it can really go to a very high level. You're going to have also too, this is a time, Aquarius is also associated with astronomy, so you might be more discoveries. It could be of planets that are hidden, that have been secret for some time. It's been mysterious, and we don't really, planets that we have not seen. Those things may be unveiled during this time. Hold on a moment, people. Also, too, Pluto is associated with crime and corruption. So I would not be surprised if we saw an escalation of cybercrime during the time of this transit as well. Uh, some other things too. This is also, you know, really at the time, during this transit. Again, Pluto being connected, with passion and desire. You may see greater, passion, desire, emotional intensity for Aquarius-related, subjects and interests, whether it could be innovation, astronomy, astrology, computers, electronics, aerospace, astronomy, um, electricity, aviation, meteorology, anything that is connected with Aquarius. It might even be just simply more people collectively having more of a passion and desire, just for humanitarianism, selflessness, and just being unobtrusive, not necessarily doing things to make you stand out, for acclaim, for adulation, but doing things, where you're in a group. It's about having more power, I would say, in friendships at this time. And a lot of this is more about having the power through social networking as well. People may be more enamored than ever by connecting with others through social networking. And I would say, again, going back to the fact that Pluto is associated with the occult, which includes astrology, it can be a time where there might be more, the passion, desire for social networking, and also just being involved, with astrology in general. And again, the Pluto being connected with the occult and astrology, Aquarius is associated with the internet. You may see even astrology becoming more popular on the internet because of that. And another thing I want to get at is that Pluto is also associated with psychology. So you might see advancements in terms of helping others deal with psychological issues. People may be going on the internet more to research matters that are connected with psychology. And another thing about the transit of Pluto and Aquarius can be that you might actually have, some people, might be, people that might, be torn between, say, moving forward, accepting, radical changes, new technology, ingenuity, innovation, in those that are more, in being conservative, in sticking with, that true, the true and tried. It could be have to do with fears. Some people might be, in a state of trepidation when trying to be coaxed into doing things that are new and different, for being asked to embrace new technology and to accept it. And it might be some people are conflicted between that and actually move, really between that and staying with what they feel comfortable with, the true and the tried, during the time of this transit. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.